Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about scopes. I'm going to do some comparing of different scopes I have. I don't know about you, but I love to match up a good hunting scope or a dual purpose scope with a bolt action rifle. I really enjoy it, like doing it. And there's times where I look at my rifles and I'm thinking, man, I really need to upgrade that particular scope, or maybe I should switch those scopes around. Just kind of looking for the perfect fit. If I do find a flaw with a scope, I'm thinking, I think I could do better. And I really like scopes. I love to research them. I love to see reviews on them. So I'm kind of a scope nerd, I guess you could say. So today, I want to switch out two of my scopes. The scope that has been on my channel gun since the beginning is the Riton EPL4. Now, the whole point of the channel gun was to test out ammo, reloads, and scopes, to have a platform I can just switch out scopes on. But I just love the Riton so much that I never took it off, and so it's been a pair ever since. And then on my 243, I've changed the scope multiple times, and the latest one has been this one right here. It's the Riton Primal 2023 model. And I was pretty happy with it. And then I decided to do some testing and kind of see how each scope compares with each other on clarity. You know, I just wanted to go out and see which scope I thought was the clearest. And that kind of made me sour a little bit on the Riton. And so the point of this video, I'm going to do sort of a review on this Riton scope. I'm also going to compare this scope against the Riton EPL4, the DiscoveryOpt ED Gen 2. I call it the Big Easy scope. I've had it on the channel before. And the CV Life Bear Power scope that I just put out a review on. So I'm going to compare the clarity of the four scopes I mentioned, and then I'm going to pick two to kind of become the new permanent scopes for those two guns. One for the 243 and then one for the channel gun. So it's kind of a budget scope comparison. Now, if you love Swarovski, Zeiss, Schmidt & Bender, Collis, you know, some of these super high-end scopes, this might not be the video for you, but I think you'll still find it entertaining. But this is more of a budget-friendly, you know, comparison. And these four scopes I mentioned, it's not apples to apples. Two of them are 30mm tubes. This one is a 1-inch tube. And then the Big Easy is 34. Three of them are first focal plane. This one is not, it's second focal plane. This is literally a hunting scope. And so it's not really a direct comparison. It's just simply my four scopes, and I'm going to pick what I think is the best two for those two guns going forward. And so let's start out by kind of doing a quick review of this scope. All right, this is the Riton Primal 1 2023 version. It's 4x12x50. It's a 1-inch main tube. It is a second focal plane scope. It is minute of angle. This is a hunting scope with a lot of good features. Of course, it has your fast focus eyepiece. It does come with scope lens caps, objective and ocular. It does have a throw lever that you can unscrew, but it does come with it. Windage and elevation are capped, so good to protect from the wind and the rain and all the elements. Not very tactile on the turret. You can't really hear it, maybe just slightly. You can feel it, but it's a little mushy. Same with both. Definitely usable, definitely okay, but definitely not a selling point. It does have illumination. It's a fire dot, or just one dot in the middle. So the very center of the reticle is illuminated. It has 6 settings with off in between, pretty standard nowadays. It does have parallax. Now it goes down to around 10 on parallax up to infinity, but it's not really marked other than showing 20. It's not really marked, so you just have to go by when it clears up. The magnification is nice and smooth. It really is. Overall, this is a pretty good scope. It's definitely a hunting scope. It's definitely on the lower end. Now, I feel confident that Riton's scopes in their more top tiers are much better. This scope though is a budget scope, but having, illumination and side parallax are pretty good features. Even though it's 1-inch tube with the 50mm objective, and this ocular bell back here is pretty big. Like, it's one of the bigger ones I've seen for a 1-inch tube. Your ring height might be a little bit higher than you normally plan, just to get it to clear everything. It's a good looking scope. I cannot say that I have extensive, years long experience using it, but I have had it on my 243 for a while. I have shot it multiple times. Obviously I sighted it in, obviously I've messed with the turrets, and I never had any issues. It seemed to track just fine. I would say my biggest complaint with this scope, and it's the reason it's not on the 243 currently that I've actually taken it off, is the clarity. And so next I'm going to show you the clarity of this scope versus some other scopes that I have, and I'm trying to debate which one I like the best and which one I want to put back on the 243. So let's check that out next. Now keep in mind, all the footage you see from every scope is better in person. Going through a phone and then going through editing software just makes it worse. So you can see there's nothing dramatically wrong with the clarity of the Riton scope. If a deer was standing there, you could easily take it down and you wouldn't have any trouble. The problem is when you compare it to some other ones, so check this out. Just a couple things to note. That light that you might see at the top center of the screen on the CV Life images, that was the flash on my camera. Got turned on for some reason. I didn't realize it. That's not chromatic aberration. That's the light on my camera came on. I tried to have all the scopes around 10x, but I apparently forgot to do the Discovery Optics, so I didn't have a comparison there. And then the only comparison at 25x was the Bear Power and the ED Gen 2 from Discovery Optics, because they're the only two that went up to 25 power. And lastly, that last group of shots that sit up close, that's literally me zooming in with the computer, and so it'll be a little bit more distorted. But I think that gives you a comparison. Now, what did I see with my eyes? Primal was the worst. The Arkin and the Bear Power were pretty much identical as far as clarity, and the Discovery Optics was the best, but it was very close to the other two. A very slight edge. Okay, so before I tell you the two scopes that I picked to go on the channel gun and the 243, I do want to talk about this one last time. Do I recommend this? If you're looking for a reasonably priced hunting scope, sure. There's nothing wrong with it. It'll be just fine. It'll do the job. For its price point, to get a good hunting scope, you're not going to go wrong with it. Let's say you've only got $250 and you want a good hunting scope. I think this is a pretty good scope, and I would recommend it in that vein, as long as you understand its limitations, specifically the scope clarity. But if you want this scope, there will be a link in the description below. You can click on that link and you can go purchase it off Amazon. And by the way, there will be other links down there for the other scopes as well, and potentially even some discount codes. So check out those links if you want any one of these 4 scopes. But without any further ado, let's see the scopes that I picked. Oh yeah, there it is. Discovery Optics ED Gen 2, aka Big Easy. I think it's going to be an absolute perfect match for the channel gun. I've weighed the channel gun down with reinforcement in the foregrip and the buttstock, so it's a heavy little Savage Axis rifle. And I think this DiscoveryOpt scope and those rings just going to make this a beefy target shooting rifle for my testing on the channel. So I love the Arkin and it did a great job, but I'm pretty happy with keeping this one as the standby scope. Now I'll still use this rifle to test out scopes as they come in, but this will be the default scope that I'll go back to. What do you think? All right, here it is, the 243 Savage Axis Hardwood. I did not pick the Riton, but I'm going to go with the Arkin. I think it's a nice match. It looks good together. I also like the fact the Arkin is more of a dual purpose scope, target shooting and hunting. Because with a 243, it's not only fun to hunt with, whether it's varmints or deer sized game, it's also really fun to just shoot at the bench. So having a kind of a dual purpose scope I think is a perfect fit. I don't know, what do you guys think? I just love the way it looks. I think it's a match made in heaven. Pretty happy with it. The scope I'm going to keep on my channel gun is the DiscoveryOpt, and I'm going to put the Arkin on my 243 going forward. I also have another scope coming within a week or so. It should be here, that's been sent to me, and I'm excited to check it out. I think it's going to be a really cool scope as well. So check out that review coming up. I'll keep the name to myself for now, but you will see it shortly. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below. Do you like any of these scopes? What do you think about the comparison that I showed? Or if you're not into these scopes, what are your favorite scopes? I'd love to hear about it. Hopefully you have a great day, and until next time, take care.